So, welcome to our RFP Money Story podcast, episode 3, a space for sharing real money stories and where we dive into real conversations about finance, success, and the lessons learned along the way. So, today, for today's episode, we are excited to welcome you, our third guest for almost 8 years RFP member,
Yes.
Miss Jendi De Guzman.
Hello, hello.
Hello, good
Hi. Oo, good
afternoon.
afternoon. O
Hi,
good
so
morning or good evening, no?
yeah.
Kung saan man sila.
Kung saan man
Sige.
sila. So, yeah, before we start, I'm very interested or invested to know about your personal money journey and financial mindset. Like, what's your first memory of money and how did it shape your financial mindset?
Sige. Actually, my first mindset about money, not only money, but actually the lifestyle that we had. Because my parents were teachers for 40 years. And my first memory of money was always about my mom selling polo shirts sa school. So parang nabuo sa isip ko na parang ganun ba yun? Is it really hard to grow money? Is it really hard to find money? Or the other way around, iisip ko na baka it's easy to find money at the same time. Kasi my mom and my dad, parang aside from their full-time work, they're looking for other sources of income. So, eventually, nung lumalaki ako, dun ko naintindihan na kulang pala. So, yung parang our finances sa household is not really enough. So, kaya eventually, sabi ko, so yung money pala, you can find it really anywhere, pero it takes a lot of hard work. Parang ganun yung nabuo sa isip ko nung unang-una. So, that's also a parang trigger for me to change the lifestyle of our family. I'm the eldest kasi. So, sabi ko, as soon as I'll be given the opportunity to earn money, to earn an income, yan. Sabi ko, I'll change the lifestyle of my parents. So, yun. Yung mindset ko talaga is really about changing the lifestyle of my parents eh. Basta hindi ko malilimutan yan. Siguro I think I was 6 or 7 years old nung time na yun. Sabi ko, grabe naman tong mami ko, ang agang gigising, tapos may dala-dala silang polo shirts sa school. Hanggang sa nawala yun kasi pinagbawal na siya. Kasi nga yung polo shirts binibenta niya sa co-teachers niya. Tapos, it's really true eh, kasi sa industry din, I'm not sure for other teaching or academic communities, no, but dun sa kinalakihan ko, noon pa naman to, ngayon hindi na ganun, but yung kinalakihan ko was, yun, may dalang polo shirts yung mom ko, tapos ako teachers lang naman niya sinesell, so sa students definitely bawal. Tapos hanggang sa pinagbawal sa buong school, kasi nga maraming teachers na nabaon na rin sa sa utang sa mga kapwa nila teachers because of selling different kinds of products din nila. So, yun, kaya sabi ko, pag lumaki ako talagang I'll probably do the same thing, mag-sell ako, tapos babagin ko yung lifestyle ng
So,
family.
growing up, nasabi niyo nga, na-mention niyo na babaguhin yung lifestyle.
Yes.
Ano yung financial lesson you learned na gusto mo pang ma-improve based dun sa nakasanayan mo before?
Sabi ko kasi on average, the average Filipino kasi the mindset is talagang it's difficult to earn money. Yun yung mindset eh, typical mindset 'di ba ng
Yeah.
average Filipino. Then we don't really talk about money sa bahay. Walang financial planning education talaga sa bahay. So sabi ko, since it's all about changing the lifestyle of our family, kailangan sabi ko mapaintindi ko sa family na it's not always us who's going to follow money. We're going to let money follow us. Kaya sabi ko sa sarili ko, one day, darating ang time na kahit saan ako magpunta, money will just follow me. Yun yung talagang lagi kong pinanghahawakan and iniisip. Kasi nga, for me, we have to always take control of our finances. No? Pero, mas marami pa akong kwento dyan about taking control. But I'm sure, mamaya mapag-uusapan natin yon. But, dumating din kasi sa point ng life namin na I had to pay for my parents' debts, credit cards, mga loans. Sabi ko, bakit ganun? Para kung nasa yung mga magulang ko, parang sinusundan sila nung money but on a negative aspect, no? Parang, kung nasan sila, may utang, kung ano yung gagawin nila, may utang pa rin. Sabi ko, paano kayo pwede yun? Ang gagawin is, kung saan kami mapunta, sundan kami ng money, pero on a positive side, yung parang, sa kami mapunta, more on ipon. Parang ganun. So, kaya ang mindset ko na about money is, we have to make sure that we can control money. That's number one. Second, we let money follow us, not the other way around. Yung parang, di ba, parang kailangan kung saan ka mapunta, you let parang money grow talaga on trees. Kasi di ba sinasabi ng mga magulang natin, hindi naman yan tumubo lang sa plants,
Plans.
parang hindi yan madaling i-earn, no? Pero actually, madali siyang i-earn eh. importante lang yung mindset natin, ma-shift natin from it's difficult to how is it possible for us to grow money, to earn money, and then to talagang yung wealth natin mai-transfer natin sa mga susunod pa.
So, you mentioned that you're paying the debts of your parents. So, aside from that, is there any other, I don't know, financial downfall you've experienced before?
Younger, I think it's more of din wala silang ipon. Talaga na masasabi ko na not necessarily because hindi sila intentionally nag-ipon, but it's because no one taught them how to save eh. Parang hindi naman kasi siya talaga common, lalo na doon sa mga nung younger years namin. So, hindi naman sila nag-ipon. So, ang ginawa ko noon was every time meron akong courses na kukuhanin. So, nung college ako, naghanap ako ng school na hindi sila magbabayad. So, I took a scholarship. Tapos, 3 years lang yung course ko that time kasi kailangan ko ring makapag-work at the same time kasi I have a younger brother. Dalawa lang naman kami. Sabi ko, pag tinuloy ko pa to ng engineering, that's another 3 years pa. So, abutin ako ng 6 years. Then, yung brother ko, magka-college na. Baka mas mahirapan yung parents ko. Sabi ko, nalinis ko na yung mga credit cards nila pati yung mga personal loans nila. So, magka-college yung brother ko, baka umulit na naman. So, ang ginawa ko, nag-working student ako. So, I took a second course, which is management, commerce management, yung pinaka graduate course ko, no. Tapos, pinag-aral ko yung kapatid ko. Pero, yung second course ko, naghanap ako ng school ulit na scholar din ako para hindi na sila mahirapan. So, I think yung mga naging challenges namin really is na-manage ko na lang nung medyo na maagang na-open yung isip ko about financial planning. And nung college ako, I mention ko na lang yung school din kasi para mas makarelate yung ating mga listeners and viewers. I took my first course sa Meralco Foundation. Yung somewhere here in Ortigas lang din. Tapos, mas nakita ko and mas na-realize ko how fortunate we are pa rin, kami yung family ko. Kasi kahit na I can afford na mag-pay ng... Kasi that time, may FX pa ba? Wala na yata mga FX. Meron pa ba? Meron pa? Dito. May UV na yung tawag, di ba?
yeah.
O UV, ayan. So, dati kasi FX eh. So, mahal ang FX, sumakay ng FX nun. So, kahit na I can afford everyday yun yung sakyan, sumasakay ako ng jeep para makakwentuhan ko sila. O kaya pag wala kaming masakyan, nag-walk kami from Ortigas, Meralco, hanggang sa may Rosario. Or lampas pa yung tawag nila Jenny's, yung almost floodway na. So, dun ko siya na-appreciate na sabi ko, yung hard work namin nung college, I'm sure darating yung time, mas aalagaan nila yung money. So, kung meron man ako mga naging challenges in terms of finances, that's yung wala kaming ipon talaga sa family. Luckily, when we were younger, wala kaming major health setback. So, hindi nakailangan sobra yung parents ko in terms of ganun. Pero, pagdating sa pag-aaral namin, magkapatid, doon kami talaga medyo nahirapan kasi nga, hindi sapat yung nila, yung income nila nung time na yon. So, hindi sila nagsabi sa akin. My parents did not really obliged me or asked me to pay for my brother's college tuition fee. Ako na yung nag-initiate since single pa naman ako that time. So, very early ako nag-work at age 19 din. So, sabi ko, ako na lang sa tuition fee. Tapos, they took charge of the transportation, projects and all. So, nagtulong-tulong kami. Hanggang yung brother ko na yung engineer ngayon. So, engineer na siya. He already has a family. So, he's residing na sa Japan. So, maganda na yung buhay niya din. Pero yung pinaka-setback namin as a family, na tingin ko naman setback na medyo tumiming din kasi marami na rin kaming alam sa financial planning. Kasi nung 2021, yan, my father passed on because of cardiac arrest. No? And when I was starting with my financial planning career, nag-usap kaming magkapatid, sabi ko sa kanya, kuha na natin silang insurance. Kasi aside from maliit lang yung ipon nila, konti lang din mga retirement pay nila, wala naman silang insurance. So nagsisimula pa lang kami ulit magkapatid, like ako, tapos na ako magpaaral sa kanya. So parang back to zero ako nung time na yon. Tapos siya nagsisimula din with his career. Sabi ko, na silang insurance. So my parents were 54 and 55 years old back then. So, naghati kaming magkapatid. So, may insurance sila. Tapos, meron naman silang health cards pa with the company, with the school they're working for. Pero in 2021, my father passed on because of cardiac arrest. Pero, we had to spend around, because of friends, 3 million lang. Pero kung hindi, siguro mga double yung price kasi meron siyang dalawang bara sa heart, so kailangan lagyan ng stent. So mahal yung stent eh. So kung yung mga viewers and listeners natin who's familiar with angiogram and angioplasty, that's the procedure my dad underwent. And then 11 months after, my mom passed on na rin because of cancer. So sabi ko sa brother ko, buti na lang nakuha na namin ng insurance programs yung parents namin. So, hindi kailangan maubos yung savings namin, tsaka savings ng brother ko, tsaka ako. So, na-wipe out muna syempre yung insurance nila, health cards nila. No? But yun lang, syempre, ano rin, they were both called home na rin. But hindi umabot dun sa point na mangutang. Kasi yun talagang pinaka iniiwasan ko din. Kasi nga nung younger ako, sabi ko, paano pala pagka yung parents ko nagkaroon ng major health problem, saan namin kukunin? So, kaya yung tumakbo sa isip ko over the years, talagang iniano ko maigi na babayaran yung utang nila, makatapos yung kapatid ko, tapos ako naman, ganun. So, kaya as a breadwinner, parang sandwich generation, medyo ako yung huli. Huli na ako nag-asawa, huli na ako nag-anak, ganun. Kasi nga, yun yung typical din dito sa Philippines, di
Yeah.
ba? Yung na ano ka, sandwich generation ka. So, kaya nga sabi ko, every time I would speak with my clients, sabi ko, kung breadwinner ka at sandwich generation, make sure that they're the last sandwich generation. So, kaya talagang hard work, no? Yung mga, kailangan talaga natin ng hard work dito sa Philippines eh.
Yes,
Yung, alam mo yun, in terms of financial planning.
But in your career right, that was way back nung college ka. But in your
Yeah.
career right now, meron ka bang naranasang downfall or nahirapan
Ngayon
ka i-stop?
hindi. Pero nagsisimula din ako sa career kasi yung behavioral kasi itong financial planning. 80% behavioral talaga siya. 20% lang talaga yung technical, 'di ba? So ngayon, marami credit cards yung parents ko, marami silang loans. So syempre, bilang panganay, I thought normal 'yon. So nung nag-start ako mag-work, binigyan ako ng my first credit card from a big, talaga, major bank talaga siya. Sabi, akala ko extra cash siya. Sabi ko, okay to ha. O, kain kami dito, punta kami doon, ganon. Sabi ko, ganito pala to. Sabi ko, yung credit card, pag hindi mo nabayaran ng due, meron palang 3% and additional. Actually, bumaba na yun, di ba? Kasi years prior to today, talaga siya parang 5% or even more. So, ngayon talagang naka-peg na siya sa 5.5 siguro yung highest na. So hanggang sa lumaki rin ng lumaki yung utak ko. Sabi ko, bakit gano'n? Parang naulit. Parang naulit yung ginawa ng parents ko with their credit cards. Pero yung sa credit cards kasi nila, it's really rin naman, yung talagang basic needs din namin. Kasi nga kulang eh. So bilang average Filipino family, pag kulang, uutangin mo rin.
Yeah.
So dahil may credit card ka, doon mo rin kukunin. Ako naman, hindi siya need eh. So dahil bata ka pa noon, 20 years old ka lang, tapos wala namang nagturo sa'yo about how to handle your debts, ganun. Akala ko extra cash siya. So every time nalalabas kami sa family, ako na dyan, ako na dyan. Di ba, may work ka na. So instead na cash ang gamitin mo, credit card. So hanggang sa nalilimutan ko yung mga due date, lumaki siya. Tapos eventually, sabi ko parang mali na yung ginagawa ko. Tapos maliit lang yung income ko that time. So ang ginawa ko noon was to speak with the credit card company. And pinaano ko siya, pinaanong tawag natin dito, yung pinaayos ko ulit, parang pina-restructure. So, pina-restructure. So, nung naayos ko na siya, fast forward 2016, 2017 yata, I encountered Sir Efren Cruz na because of RFP. And merong advocacy program si Sir Efren Cruz. Ito yung mga yaman coaches na tinatawag. From there, naging advocate naman ako ng lahat ng nabaon sa credit card and utang. So, kaya ngayon, part of what I do, aside from dito sa RFP, no? So, pag merong lumapit sa atin na mga clients natin, mga kapwa natin Filipinos na nabaon din sa credit card debts nila, tinutulungan natin paano nila i-restructure, anong gagawin nila, dapat ba taas yung income or less yung expense, ganyan. So kaya lahat yan parang nadaanan ko rin. Kaya talagang kumbaga pag merong lumapit sa atin na paano gagawin, ganito, ganyan, parang okay lang yan, chill lang yan. Kumbaga alam na alam ko yung pinagdadaanan nila. So yun, I think yun yung isa sa naging setback when I was younger, when I was starting my career. Kaya nga dun sa anak ko ngayon, although she's only 8 years old, tinuturuan ko na siya how to handle talaga money. Kasi hindi naman siya part of our educational system, diba?
Yes.
So, importante rin bilang parents, bilang ate or kuya, yung mga nakikinig sa atin, nanonood sa atin, importante that we impart also yung mga financial planning techniques natin sa kanila. No? Kaya ngayon, every time she has anong tawag natin doon, yung every Pasko, pinamaskuhan niya, Yon, she would keep it on her own. Tapos I would ask her lang how to divide. I would ask her to set aside yung 10% kasi we practice tithing as a family. So, we give back yung 10% sa church talaga. Tapos, I would ask her to set aside with the calculator pa kasi bata pa siya. So, I would let her see kung magkano yung 20% out of her money, magkano yung 10% out of her money. So, yung 20%, lalagyan namin sa bank niya. So, I opened the bank account na rin kasi for her. The rest, bahala siya kung saan niya gustong gamitin. Pero nakakatawa, what?
Siya na yung
Siya na
nagmamahal.
bahala. Pero actually, hindi niya ginagastos, which is good. Hindi niya ginagastos hanggang ngayon. So, nasa wallet lang niya sa bahay. Sabi ko, anak, what's your plan with your money? Ganyan. Iisipin na ng matagal, toys? Ganon. Pero ako rin bibili. Diba? Parang ganon. Which is ano naman, sa akin magandang sign na talagang mas maipon siya kaysa sa amin. Kasi yun nga, sabi ko, even sa husband ko, even ako, walang nagturo sa amin about handling finances. So, sabi namin dito sa mga anak namin, importante talaga, we would impart yung yung hindi namin nagawa before. So, kaya yung going back dun sa tanong mo, Miss Gab, no, yung hurdles ko when I was starting with my career,
Yes.
kinuwento ko din kaagad yun sa brother ko kung paano niya i-handle yung finances. So, nung nag-work na siya, and nagkaroon siya ng sariling family, mas maayos yung flow
So, nung
ng life niya. Ako kasi risk taker when I was younger eh. So, anong kailangan kong gawin to support my family? Paano gagawin? Saan ako mag-i-invest? Anong gagawin ko dito? Paano invest to? Ganun. Hanggang sa eventually ang nangyari, yung brother ko yung mas risk taker na ngayon. So, ako kasi I'm moderately risk yung profile ko eh. Siya high risk siya. So, even Forex, pinasok na rin na yung mga crypto and all. So, ako talagang hindi ako ulit anong tawag dito, nagte-trade. So, I'm more in investing kasi I don't have the time to do that at the moment. So, pero talagang nakakatuwa na yung hindi ko nagawa nung mas bata ako, ginagawa niya ngayon. So, hopefully, pati yung mga students ko din, mga clients ko, ganun din yung gawin nila.
But right now, since you're in the peak of your career, how do you manage your money?
Kasi since I'm married na,
Yes.
since I'm married na, hindi ko kasi alam how would other couple deal with money. Pero, nung una kasi, ano rin naman to, parang trial and error din kaming mag-asawa. Kasi when we started our relationship kasi, magkahiwalay talaga kami ng money. So, yung money niya, money ko din. Yung money ko sa akin lang, ganon. Pero hindi ko kasi siya hinihingan talaga intentionally. I would ask him lang yung mga bigger expenses sa family like tuition fee ng anak ko. And basta yung major expense sa bahay, siya talaga yun. Pero yung mga maliliit lang na expenses na kaya ko naman, ako na yun. Tapos yung mga wants na namin, ako na yun. Like yung simple staycation lang, ganun. Or kain kami sa labas, ako na yun, ganun. But yung major talaga sa kanya yun. Kasi we have a business also to manage eh. So siya doon, magkahiwalay kami ng iniintindi na career and business. So siya doon sa alam niya, ako din ito yung alam kong ginagawa ko. Pero dumating yung time na sabi ko, we have to combine our finances. So, mas naging smooth yung flow ng namin, ng finances namin kasi kinombine. Tapos, this is also mostly asked na tanong talaga sa amin sa kasi we have a live session din sa FB every Thursday with Wealth Archie naman, with other RFPs, every Thursday nights, that's 7:30 hanggang 8:30. Yun yung tanong sa amin. So, sino daw dapat naghahawak ng pera sa couples, 'di ba? In reality, hindi lang lagi yung babae yung mag-handle ng money. Kung sino talaga yung magaling sa pera, dapat siya talaga yung nag-handle ng money. Kasi kahit nasabihin natin, ibigay natin sa wife natin yung money, pero kung hindi naman din ganun naiintindihan ng wife natin, or baliktarin natin, baka sabihin na ko yung mga kapwa ko babae. O kaya halimbawa yung guys naman, yung sabi ko, sige siya mag-handle ng pera kasi yung guy sa family, no? Paano kung hindi rin naman, hindi ganun kataas yung financial quotient ng guy, masisira din yung financial house ng family. So, kami ngayon, combined, pero mostly ako yung may
Nagmamanage.
direction. Oo.
Okay.
Pero siya, yung husband ko, meron din siyang sariling budget every month. He would spend yung budget na yon dun sa operations naman ng business namin. The rest na sa akin. Yun. Tapos hindi na niya alam kung magkano. Hindi, joke lang. Hindi, importante rin yung transparency as a family. No? So, bilang couple, alam din niya magkano pang money na nandyan sa akin, magkano yung money nila sa kanya, and then yung sa different bank accounts. Tapos, I would let him know kung ano in-open ko na investment for the children, ganon. Ano pa ba? I would let him know. Depende kasi sa couple, no? Kasi siya kasi, passive siya eh. Parang sabihin mo lang sa kanya, okay, oh, ganun lang siya. Hindi siya yung type of husband kasi na, okay, so paano mo inopen? Hindi siya ganun eh. Hindi siya yung, he would not ask me how did I open the account, magkano siya, hindi siya ganun. Parang siya, ikaw yung may alam niyan, ikaw nang bahala dyan. Parang ganun. Ako naman, sa business, may nag-offer ng ganito, kausapin mo kasi ikaw yung may alam dyan. So, ganun yung, that's how we handle our, ano ngayon, system and finances sa ngayon. Yun.
Okay, so you mentioned investment.
Mm-mm.
Actually, that goes to my next question. Ever since like you get married, nagkaroon ka ng sarili mong money, your own career, you're debt free from your parents' loans. Ano yung saan ka una nag-invest? And if meron ka mang in-invest, kung meron ka mang in-invest, is there something na ay di siya nag-work? Ganun.
Ah, um, ang na-remember ko kasi when I was younger, I started different small businesses also. Hindi rin nag-work. Like, I sold mga ano rin, nauso di ba yung mga sabon? Nagbenta rin ako niyan. Kaya lang kasi, if you're in the sales industry, kasi kailangan malakas yung loob mo, matapang, hindi ka nahihiya, di ba? Kaya lang when I was younger, medyo mahihiyain pa ako. So, pero nakabenta naman tayo ng sabon. Tapos nung dulo-dulo na-exhaust na yung energy ko sa pagbebenta, ginamit na namin sa bahay, mga ganun. Sabi ko parang ayoko na nito, mami, hindi ko pala kaya, parang ganun. Tapos dumating pa yung point na, kasi nga yung mindset ko, I want to uplift the lifestyle of my parents, of my family in general, no? Pati SIM cards, pati MLM, pinasa ko na rin yan, mga ganun. Tapos hanggang sa nag-combine yung financial quotient namin mag-asawa, siya ay may business acumen. So, tinuruan niya ako kung paano mag-business. Hanggang sa lumakas yung loob ko rin paano magnegosyo. Pero yung pinaka-first exposure ko sa financial planning, aside from reading books when I was in college, um, pinaka-first exposure ko was in 2011. Yan, kasi I got into a vehicular accident and then eventually I had to check the status of my insurance policy kasi nagpapaaral nga ako ng brother ko that time. Sabi ko kung may nangyari sa akin, ano kaya nangyari sa kapatid ko kung hindi ko siya napatapos at I'll be taken out of the picture. Tapos yon inintroduce sa akin ngayon ng branch manager ko insurance industry. So, that's my first stint talaga. So, I became a financial advisor in 2011. Tapos, sabi ko, parang nakukulangan ako ng pagbigay ng suggestion and paggawa ng financial plans sa clients ko. So, kaya naging first investment ko that time, syempre yung insurance, it's VUL, may investment component. Kasi, ang naisip ko lang kasi that time was, ang habang panahon akong tumutulong sa family. So, what will happen to me kapag magsasettle ako? Pagka halimbawa, gusto ko rin magka-family. Since wala pa akong idea about the stock market, about mutual fund, ang alam ko lang mayroon ako at mabilis na kapag access at introduce sa akin was an insurance agent. So, I had my first VUL when I was 24. Tapos, yung accident nangyari when I was 29. So, nung time na yon, that's the time na in-introduce sa akin yung financial planning. So, through, ano muna, insurance industry, then eventually RFP, dun lumawak. So, nung nag-start na ako sa RFP, nag-start na ako mag-invest sa mga mutual funds. I also started to trade na rin nung mga early 2000, ganyan. Tapos, nung time na ako ay naging mommy na, nawalan ako ng oras mag-trade. So, hindi na ako nagte-trade ngayon. So, talagang, ano na lang din, peso cost averaging. So, I have my stocks din. Then, eventually, UITF also. Kasi, yung purpose naman, dahil ko siya ino-open, not because pinag-uusapan, hindi dahil meron yung friend mo or in-offer lang sa'yo ng friend mo, but because there's a need. For example, yung nagkaroon ako ng baby na, no, yung panganay ko. So, I opened a mutual fund for her kasi ang purpose is for educational funding. Although may VUL din siya, sabi ko pang augment for baka magdebo na baka gusto magdebo ng bongga. Sabi ko, so pag nag-18, kukulangan yung mutual fund. So, may VUL siya. Tapos, I have a 1-year-old ngayon. So, dalawa sila. So, meron din siyang mutual fund na rin. Kasi hindi ako nag-invest as of the moment. So, yun muna yung ginawa ko sa kanila. So, para peso cost averaging constantly while I'm earning, actively earning, diba? So, lagay ako ng lagay doon. Tapos, business, much more kami sa negosyo kasing mag-asawa. So, meron akong, yun, meron kaming, farm, may piggery kami, then may lechon business kami. So, yun yung namin talaga sa ngayon. Tapos, I have, aside from RFP, yan. So, I'm a life coach also. So, I'm more on services kasi. So, I'm more on life coaching, speaking engagements, finance, and life coaching din yung mga talks yan, mga mindset, how to become happy, yan. mga ganun yung mga topics natin. Mental health, yun yung ano ko. So, yun yung parang ano namin ngayon, yun yung mga sources namin ngayon. Tapos eventually, what we're setting up are funds na if, pag biglang gusto namin mag-retire, kumbaga, meron kaming sa setup na funds na pag bigla kaming nag-retire, it's giving us money pa rin. So that's for yung mga dividend paying stocks, meron din ako nun. So yan, para alam din ng mga ano natin, viewers and listeners natin. Kasi ito rin tinatanong sa amin lagi sa ano, sa Wealth Archie, yung mga dividend paying stocks naman. So yun yung pagka mag-retire kami, tapos biglang gusto ko meron akong certain amount every month na pumapasok. So yun yung pwede namin gamitin. And syempre yung business. Yan. Pero pag business kasi, kailangan meron ding legacy planning. So, paano namin siya ita-transfer dun sa mga anak namin? 'Di ba? So, yun. Yun yung mga investments that we have at the moment.
You mentioned a while ago that yung insurance introduced
Yes.
you RFP. Tama ba? Yung insurance yung
Yes,
nag-introduce you
oo.
in
Kasi,
RFP for financial planning.
because of the community ng insurance kasi, and then eventually, merong mga seminars and workshops through Sir Randall Chongson. Sir Randall Chongson was part of Sun Life before. Ako naman, I'm from Pru Life. Tapos, we have communities na common. Tapos doon na-introduce si RFP until such time I met Sir Henry Ong, sila Sir Efren Cruz. So, doon lumawak. And because of RFP, talagang ano, nakakatuwa kasi ang daming reach ng RFP in terms of giving financial seminars, yan. Tapos, I was able to write my first book also. But, yung book ko is more on life coaching. But because of the network and community of RFP, yun nga, talagang naging possible yung ano, pag-write ko ng book about life coaching. So yung book naman, it's because of a client from the financial planning industry who pushed me na magsulat. Yan. So, parang connect-connect na siya because of that. So, yung RFP actually expanded yung ano yung reach ko in terms of my purpose na gusto kong gawin talaga in my life. And my purpose is really to exhaust yung skills and talents na binigay sa akin ni Lord to be able to change the lives of many people, not only in the financial aspect, but syempre sa life din. Kasi one of my realizations is talagang sobrang ikli ng buhay. Ilan to ka na? Sorry 20s?
24.
24, napakabata pa. Nako, grabe. Kasi yung age ko na ganyan, I was thinking na hindi naman ako magkakasakit or like, ang haba-haba pa ng buhay, diba? Pero yun yung pandemic when my parents passed on. Sabi ko, yun na yung 63 years nila sa Earth. Sabi ko parang, sabi ko napakaikli. Although alam ko naman na before they passed on, kahit papaano nakapag-give back kaming magkapatid. Pero alam mo yun, yung pag-give back kasi bilang mga anak, hindi siya enough eh. Wala siyang certain amount how you can give back to your parents, diba? Or to those people who were able to help you when you were younger. So, kaya sabi ko, gagamitin ko yung lifetime ko talaga to be able to give back to every person that I meet. Kasi, napakaikli ng buhay. No, yung 24 years old, 24 ako nag-start talaga ma-expose sa financial planning. Sabi ko, ang ikli pala ng buhay. Imagine, akala mo, hindi ka magkakasakit. Akala mo forever ka, pero hindi. Tapos, yung magkaanak nga ako, so I have a friend who pushed me to write the book. And itong friend ko na to kasi is from the RFP community also. Sabi ko, paano ko naman ituturo dun sa anak ko yung lahat ng natutunan ko for the past 30 years, baby pa siya. Parang ikwento, anak, alam mo ba na, mga ganun. Sabi ko, I think the best way to do that is to write a book para pagdating ng time na malaki na siya. And by the time na I would be able to share yung stories na, alam mo yon na na-experience ko, at least naisulat ko. 'Di ba? Kasi nung sinusulat ko yun, my father-in-law has Alzheimer's na rin eh. Oo, sabi ko, siguro si tatay meron siyang mga gustong ikwento sa amin mag-asawa, kaya lang, hindi na niya makwento. Kasi nga, nakakalimot na siya, di ba?
Yeah, oo nga.
So, we only have, one mother-in-law left. Sobrang malakas pa. So, praying that she would be given more lives talaga pa na healthy pa, di ba? No? Malakas na malakas yung mother-in-law ko. So, kaya sabi namin mag-asawa, mas lalo kaming mag-work hard kasi yun nga, siya na lang yung nandito sa amin. Kasi napakili lang talaga ng life. So, kaya yung sabi ko, itong RFP, sabi ko, this is going to be one stage for me to be able to unleash whatever
Yeah.
purpose yung binigay sa atin talaga.
But before joining RFP, what motivated you to join?
To join RFP mismo.
Yes.
Mainly because I want to improve talaga yung lifestyle ng family. That's number one. Second, I want to be more sa mga clients ko. Kasi ayoko naman na every time we speak about financial planning, isa lang yung program
Yeah. Oo.
na ino-offer natin, which is insurance lang. So I want to give them more ideas on how they would improve their life also. So aside from insurance, we have a lot of investment platforms here in the Philippines, diba? We have mutual funds, we have UITF, we have bank products, we have crypto na rin naman, diba? We
Yes.
have Bitcoin, mga ganyan. So we have real estate, ano rin, yung mga real estate investment platforms din. So sa akin, it's really two things lang. One, to change the lifestyle of my family. Second, to change the lifestyle of my clients. Yun lang talaga siya. Kasi nga parang sayang naman kung 'di ba, ang laking kumita ng mga clients natin o kaya ang laking kumita na natin yung mga tao sa paligid natin tapos hindi natin siya na ma-maximize. Through RFP, dun ko nakita na, okay, so dapat ganito pala yung ginagawa natin. Dapat pala, aside from this tool, meron ka pang ganito, yan. So, dun ko natutunan yun. Nang malalim. O, grabe, pati case study, ganun pala kalalim.
So, yung ever since naging member ka ng RFP, um, you mentioned a while ago na sinishare mo sa mga client. Other than that, how do you use your platform to influence your approach for being an RFP member?
Aside from the network, yung network of friends din, yung network of RFPs, network of financial planners. So, whenever I would do new projects, dun ko talaga sinishare muna sa kanila. Tapos, I have this another group naman for speaking under Sir Jason Law naman. May NDM, Unique Family. It's more on behavioral naman din. Ano rin, sa session sa RFP, medyo tinuturo ko din yun kasi behavioral finance yung madalas topic ko sa RFP. So, yun yung mga ginagamit nating platform. Bilang RFP, I would write sa mga blogs. I would do vlogs. Yan, vlogs, ano pa ba? Hindi pa ako nag-live so far ng mag-isa. I have a live Q&A with fellow RFPs, sila Sir Fitz Villafuerte, Renzi Biolena, Marion Evangelista, si Adriel, yan, Sir Adriel, yan, kasama ko sila every Thursday night nga. So, that's our platform also, yung Wealth Archie. Oo, Wealth Archie Services. So, Wealth Archie Consultancy, nagla-live kami, tapos yung live Q&A na yun, that's 1 hour lang. Tapos yung mga fellow Filipinos natin, here and abroad, nagtatanong talaga sila doon. So, that's free, kasi live lang naman sa FB yun.
Facebook lang.
Oh, yes. So, yun yung mga
Okay.
ginagamit nating platforms ngayon. Social media, may blog, yung mismong page ko, at saka websites, yun. Doon. Tapos network of friends, yan.
You think ever since naging RFP member ka, it helped you for your financial decisions?
Oo naman.
A
Oo
lot.
naman. Kasi hindi naman lang dahil since I'm an RFP na for quite some time, ako lang yung nagtuturo. Natututo rin ako from fellow RFPs and also from my clients mismo. Kasi nung nag-handle ako ng clients na mga married couples, tapos ako hindi pa ako kasal nung time na yon. So, doon ko nakita na, so dapat pala pag kinasal kami, eto na siya, ganito, ganun, ganun. So, natututo rin ako sa kanila. So, it's a community of ano talaga of ano bang tawag natin doon? It's a community of giving back din. Oo, parang nagre-reciprocate lang din yung help na binabalik natin sa community. So our clients are also teaching us as RFP para mas lalo kaming matuto din with the craft na ginagawa namin.
So, dun sa live Q&A na ginagawa nyo, and you mentioned na may clients ka na tinuturuan for financial planning and stuff, yung mga kids mo, tinuturoan mo na rin, or tinitrain mo na rin to save money. In your own financial journey naman, how do you apply the RFP program?
Nako. Naging ano tayo, ano ba tawag natin doon? Naging friend ko si Excel. Ayun, talagang yun talaga ako. Kasi dati tinuturo din sa atin yung lagay sa phone, di ba? Mag-install ka ng mga applications. Kaya lang medyo traditional ako. So, I would write muna siguro sa notes ko sa phone. Dati sulat pa talaga. I have a small notebook. Tapos I would write yung income and expenses. But because of ano rin siguro, yung dami rin ng iniintindi ko everyday, nalilimutan ko. So ginawa ko na sa notes tapos yung Excel, I would ang tawag dito, I would trace din yung expenses namin every month. Tsaka expenses, comparing expenses namin last year kasi that's inflation. Yun. So I'm
Yeah.
sure baka ma-ano rin ma-discuss in one of the sessions here, no? Yung inflation. Kasi nagbabago yung inflation nga kasi natin, 'di ba? So pataas ng pataas yung bilihin. So sa amin sa financial journey ko, um, hindi naman ako lumayo talaga kasi ang financial planning really is behavioral. So yung part ng tools and logistics part ng financial planning, the same yan eh. Yung how would you, anong tawag doon, how would you monitor income versus expense? How would you handle the risks yung sa insurance part, no? How would you handle yung cash flow and everything? The same yan eh. Pero pagdating sa behavioral, it's really ano talaga, kung paano mo, how you deal with money and it's your relationship with money. I think yun yung mas malaking factor na nagbago ngayon. Kasi when I was younger, ano lang eh, tanggap lang ng tanggap kung anong meron. Tapos nga, akala ko, di ba yung, ay, sabi ko credit card, meron akong bagong
Swipe
cash.
lang ng
Oo,
swipe.
ganun. Per this time, mas naging maingat ka na, di ba? So, pag credit card, it's parang add-on to your credit line in case of emergency. That's number one. Second, yung mga points, di ba? So, yun yung ginagamit natin pag nagpa-purchase tayo ng mga gas or groceries because of the cashback and everything, mga ganyan. Pero yung pag-handle ng credit card when I was young, hindi siya ganun. Talaga more on gastos. But this time, talagang naging mas responsible. Tapos, mas naging open yung mind natin in terms of getting into investments. Yan. Tapos, yun, di na tayo na-scam. Kasi, di ba, nung bata ako, na-scam, pero konti lang scammers nun eh. Ngayon, di ako na-scam kasi mas maraming scammers, di ba? Hindi
Marami,
tayo
oo.
na-scam ngayon. Oo. I think it's a blessing kasi si RFP allowed me and my fellow RFPs to become even more mature in handling finances. And also, I think yung wider reach ng RFP ngayon allowed us to mature also in our career. And it opened a lot of doors eh. No, like in my case, hindi lang sa financial planning. So this is the community na na-meet ko rin sila. Yan, sila Sir Efren, naging part ako ng advocacy group. And then eventually sila Sir Randall. Then Sir Randall also has his own community. That's the same community naman I met Sir Jason Law. He's my mentor naman sa speaking. Sa yung unique, tsaka yung nodal moment namin, group namin. So yan. So parang yung RFP opened a lot of doors for me sa speaking, sa teaching, ano pa ba? Writing a book, and many others eh. Actually, ang dami ko na rin naging friends because of RFP. Hindi lang professional friends, talagang naging mga kaibigan ko rin talaga.
I'm curious about yung sa speaking mo. So, you're usually invited as a guest speaker. So, ano yung usually yung tinatakal or dinidiscuss?
Ako, ano ngayon?
Aside sa speaking, dun din sa live Q&A sa live Q&A every Thursday, and dun sa book.
Okay. Yung sa live Q&A, every Thursday, sa Wealth Arky na page, it's really finances lang. So, everything about finances, yung tanong investments, how would you handle yung gantong problem sa bahay, etc., etc. Sa book, it's a different story. So, yun talaga yung book, it's called Be a Brand New You. It's a life coaching book. And yung content nun is how you would always aspire to meet your version 2. So, yun yung laman noon. Be a brand new you. And eventually, dahil nga life and financial coaching yung kaya ko i-handle, so yung sa mga speaking engagements, madalas na binibigay sa akin is how would you handle money targeting behavior and targeting yung life coaching or using life coaching as a tool para ma-target mo naman yung finances sa bahay. Yun. Kasi ako, ang belief ko lagi is yung kung ano yung meron tayo ngayon in terms of finances, galing lang yun sa mindset natin ng bata pa tayo. And we all have a programming kasi pagdating sa pera. So parang between the two of us, if we're given 10,000, paglabas natin ng room na to, we'll spend it differently.
Yeah.
'Di ba? That's our programming. So, yun yung tinuturo ko sa mga sessions. Kasi minsan hindi naman minsan, actually madalas, pag financial planning session talagang medyo technical, 'di ba? Parang papasulat sa'yo anong income mo versus expenses, ano pa ba? Check lang naman natin kung meron kang insurance, anong investments mayroon ka, ano yung next step mo, ganun. Pero after nun, as RFP, pagka napag-usapan nyo na, ang RFPs kasi, yun yung control natin. Pero after the session of our clients with an RFP, anong next? Papasok na yung programming ulit ng client natin. So that's where life coaching comes in. Pagkatapos ng session with an RFP, maganda yung, kaya nga 'di ba dito, sabi namin ni Sir Henry, RFPs are not only financial planners, we're life planning coaches na rin eh. Kasi after the financial planning session, may ano pa yan yung parang sessions after na, o parang, eto yung pinag-usapan natin, o Miss Jendy, eto yung pinag-usapan natin, pero ayaw ng asawa ko. Okay, Miss Jendy, eto yung napag-usapan natin, kaya lang napagastos ako ulit, ganun. So, na napapasok yung coaching. Kaya nga RFPs are now life planning coaches na rin. Kasi nga, yun nga kasi 80% behavioral lang money tapos 20% lang talaga yung technical part.
So, nagkakaroon ng one-on-one session.
May one-on-one, may group din. Group usually, ano na yun, seminars. Pero usually, pagka financial planning session, one-on-one o kaya yung couples, tapos with an RFP. Yan. Pero pagka medyo mas malalim na, kunwari hindi nila ma-solve yung problem financially, life coaching na yun. Oo, baka may problem talaga na mas kailangan pa ma-solve before targeting yung problems with financials.
Okay. So, you already shared your experiences about saving money, yung previous experience mo about paying the debts of your parents, and yung pagkakaroon mo ng your own money tracker. And at the same time, tinitrain mo na rin yung kids mo. Do you want to share something valuable lesson or inspirational or motivational message to our viewers or listeners na you think it would be helpful na kailangan ma-realize na nila to, ganito, ganyan?
Sige, ako lang, ano lang, what I always tell my clients is that, don't let yourselves, or parang gawin natin siya in a way na let money follow us, not yung the other way around. Kasi yun yung naging hurdle ko before, na parang lagi ko na lang hinahanap, saan ba ako mag-work para mas marami yung para mas maraming income, ganun. Whereas, if you hone your skills pala, money will just continuously follow you. So, kaya sabi ko, kailangan talaga, it's a change of mindset sa Philippines, sa mga Filipinos na, yung parang bakit ganito yung nangyari sa buhay ko? Bakit ganito? Bakit ganon? At the end of the day, tayo may problem At the end of the day, ganun yung problem. In our programming. So, yung programming natin, hanggat hindi natin nasosolve, yung nangyari sa atin when we were in our 20s will happen in our 30s, will happen again in our 40s. So before you know it, 60 years old na tayo, wala pa rin tayong ipon. So at the end of the day, like yung sinasabi sa kanila is yung kailangan talaga is you change your mindset about money, let money follow you, tapos hone your skills. Kasi pag pinagyaman mo yung skills and talents na mayroon ka, tapos you pray kay Lord kung saan ka niya dapat dalhin, everything will follow Everything will be in its proper places. Yun. Tsaka ano lang din siguro, ang dami ko na-encounter kasi recently na talagang maraming problem in terms of debts. Especially, kasi part ako ng Kaskasan Buddies O yung group, sabi ko, okay to Sabi ko, dami ko rin nakikitang mga tips and tricks dito, di ba? Pero bago lang yan kasi kung maaga-aga yan mayroon when I was younger, medyo mas maaga-aga tayong kumbaga mas na-open doon sa kung paano gamitin credit cards noon. Baka hindi pa tayo nagkaroon ng ganung challenge before. Pero nakakatuwa yung group na yan. So kudos dyan sa group na yan. Pero ingat lang din kasi sa sobrang kakabasa ata, maraming na yung parang naingganyang bumili naman ng bumili. So yun nga kaya sinasabi nila handle yung credit cards properly. So siguro lang din sa mga nagkaroon naman ng challenge in terms of utang, hindi lang credit cards, even personal loans and utang sa ibang tao. Importante lang wag magpanic, number 1. Second, seek help. Kasi kung hindi naman din mag-seek ng help, talaga mahirapan sila. Kasi ang dami namang opportunities na available pa rin. Pagka kasi nandun ka sa situation, di ka naman talaga makakaisip talaga So, importante yung seek help and maging humble lang na talagang kailangan mo ng tulong. Kasi yung naging problem din with other clients ko din is yung natagalan lumaki yung utang kasi itinago yung utang, hindi sinabi, nahiya na may utang, mga ganun. So, pwede namang discreet din yun, pero importante that they would seek help. And lagi nating tatandaan na money lang yun, ma-earn ulit, pwede nating makontrol yung money. Importante i-change yung mindset about sa money din, mapalitan yung mindset. And finally, lang yung sinasabi, pagka sa Wealth Archie na maagang magplano, pagdating sa financial planning para maaga makapag-retire yung mga kapwa nating fellow Filipinos, especially yung OFWs, para mas mahaba nilang kasama yung family nila.
Totoo.
Yun yung lagi kong sinasabi paalala sa kanila.
Okay, so before we wrap things up, do you want to promote, you mentioned may business ka, may live Q&A
dami,
ka.
nakalito na
And then may book ka, baka you want to mention so we can I'll put
sige.
it at the end of the
Sige.
video.
Right now, my focus really is on life and financial coaching and planning. So, siguro, pinaka-best way to reach me out is, of course, syempre dito sa RFP, no? That's the number one. Second is yung aming live every Thursday, 7:30 until 8:30 in the evening, Wealth Archie. May FB page naman yun, so search lang nila. Tapos, if they want to collaborate with me in terms of life coaching seminars and financial planning seminars. Speaking engagement seminars also, I do that. Speaking engagement specifically for RFPs and financial planners na gustong matuto kung paano nila ikukwento paano sila magtuturo ng financial planning. So, business, siguro ano na lang, a different story. Pero basta yung kailangan nila ng lechon, kami naman yun. Pero for services like financial planning, life coaching, basta ano lang, reach out sa RFP or sa Wealth Archie Consultancy Services.
Alright, so do you want to add something else before we end?
Siguro I would encourage yung ating viewers and listeners. I'm challenging them actually to take the step to become RFPs kasi napaka-konti pa ng RFPs in the Philippines out of billions of ilan na bang population natin as of the moment. Wala na akong idea. Simula nang anak ako, nakalimutan ko na kung ilan. Pero marami na. Pero ilang percent pa lang kasi ang RFPs eh. Kasi imagine kung it takes mga several thousands of financial advisors to ensure yung number of population here in the Philippines. Kasi as of the moment, ang alam ko sa research, ang insurance penetration still remains at 2% eh. So, mas maraming financial advisors kaysa sa RFPs. So, 'di ba, yung reach, kaya nga I challenge you to become RFPs kasi hindi lang for other people, pero para sa atin. Kasi kung hindi natin matutunan i-handle yung finances natin sa bahay, mahirapan tayo i-handle yung finances outside of bahay. So,
Alright.
yan.
Ayan. Thank you so much for sharing all of your
Thank
words.
you,
You're
Miss Gab.
welcome. Thank you. And that's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you love diving into money stories as much as we do, make sure to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify, or visit our official website at rfp.ph for more financial insights. Until next time, keep chasing those money moves.